Welcome back to another episode of Cappuccino Chat. This time we're going to talk about layered security and why it's important to your business. So go grab a good cup of coffee and let's chat. We're going to talk about layered security today and why it's important to your business. First off, the more layers of security we can do, the better off your business will be. Again, if we can stop that threat later or sooner on out on the internet or prior to getting to your business, the better off. For instance, everyone gets spam email. A lot of those spam emails also contain links to malicious websites, downloads, etc. If we can stop those threats sooner rather than later, the more protected you will be. So this philosophy is at our core. If you haven't seen my book or read my book, Keys to the Castle, this is why we call it a castle. So think of layered security like a castle. You have the moat, the drawbridge, the towers with the archers, etc. We can relate all of that to different layers of security. So again, I mentioned cloud and spam protection. We also have other cloud apps that we can use for protection along with backup in the cloud. As we move further into the castle, we have our firewall. So the more threats we can block at our firewall, the better off, i.e. web filtering. So if we can stop users from being redirected or accidentally going to malicious websites, we again can stop that threat due to the different layers. If a threat still gets through that layer, we have another layer to go before you become vulnerable to that threat. So some other layers that we can add. Intrusion detection prevention, again at the firewall level. The web filtering, like I mentioned. Then you have your antivirus and next-gen antivirus layers. So basic AV is no longer good enough. We need to add the new next-gen capabilities. What do I mean by next-gen? So with malware and ransomware everywhere now, that's the new go-to thing for these threat actors to use, is we can actually see how something comes into your environment, what is clicked on or programs that are used, and we can actually roll back that if something were to happen. So if a malware or a ransomware starts to go down the path of encrypting your files, we can see where it started and all the different areas in which it touched, so that when it comes to the recovery phase, we know where we need to go. We are also providing the persistent threat detection as a layer of next-gen protection on all the endpoints, your servers, your desktops, your laptops. What this is doing is protecting you from good programs being used for inappropriate purposes, i.e. stealing your data, watching you, turning on your webcam, turning on your microphone if you're on a laptop, those types of things, and just watching what you're doing, grabbing screen captures. So command.exe, the black screen that comes up from the old DOS days, that's not necessarily a bad program, so none of your antivirus programs are going to detect that. What is bad is if it's running for an absorbent amount of time on your machine, there could be something going on that needs to be looked at. That's where that persistent layer comes into play. Now again, with all the endpoint protection and everything that's there, at that point, that's kind of our last line of defense. Because again, the only way any of that stuff works is for the virus, the malware, the ransomware to already be present inside your system. In other words, they've breached the castle at that point. So again, we want to backtrack that all the way out. What are some other layers that we can use? One of the best layers you can do is end user education. So constant reminding users of how to spot malicious websites, inappropriate links, phishing emails, with all the different stuff going on during the holidays and normal time of the year. Again, just simple things like putting your mouse over the link to see what it really is going to, and ensuring that it's not going somewhere that's inappropriate. Not opening emails from users you don't know who they are. You definitely don't want to open those emails and attachments. And even if you do get an email or an attachment from someone that you do know and you do a lot of business with, if it seems out of ordinary for them to be sending you whatever it is, or the email isn't worded in such a way that sounds like that person, that should be drawing attention to you and to your employees to think twice before opening that attachment or email. I met with a prospect the other day, and we were having a conversation about layered security. And what came up too is that we don't often think about is, how do we protect our data from leaving the building, maybe from an inside threat? So maybe you have an inside sales force paid on commission levels, right? So if you have your database of customers that you want to protect that data so that they can't easily maybe email it to themselves, maybe copy it to a USB thumb drive and export that data, update it to a cloud application. So these are all different layers we can turn on security for. If there's no business case within your business for Dropbox, OneDrive, other sites like that where you can store cloud data, then let's turn it off and block it so that those inside threats also can't get access to those. Some of the ransomware is even using places like Dropbox and OneDrive to store data on it because they know it's typically being allowed and accessed. So again, they can write ransomware to first copy some important files. So maybe they'll look for your QuickBooks files. Maybe they'll look for Word documents and Excel spreadsheets, and they will actually send those out to a Dropbox account or a cloud account of some kind so that they can have those files, and then they will ransom your system off by encrypting all the files, but no one will ever look any farther to see what happened. So that layered approach is very important when you're looking at the overall risks associated with your business and cybersecurity. There's not one product or one technology that's going to protect everything. As soon as we come up with a layer of protection, they're finding out ways to get around that layer. So again, we want them to run into yet another layer. One reason for this is, unless you're a huge target, the harder you make it on someone, the less likely they are to spend time dealing with you. So if you have multi-factor authentication, if you have some of these next-gen products and they run into these blocks that you've put in place, they're going to move on and not want to spend as much time. They want to get in and get out without notice, with ease, and get paid. Okay, so any questions on layered security and why you need it, definitely reach out. You have the website address, www.southwest-networks.com, and you can always email me at mdisher, that's MDISHER, at southwest-networks.com, or just give the office a call, 760-770-5200. Till next time, enjoy that cup of coffee.